Hey coaches, thank you so much for joining this coaching call. This is Coach Andrika J. Austin. I go by Coach AJ for short, as you know. So excited to be here with you to discuss a popular topic lately for our Fast Coach training coaches. We're talking about how to grow and market your business online the easy way, or should I say the smart way. So what we're doing is introducing a very special guest coming up shortly. Her name is Tamay Shannon. She is of W2S Marketing, and she's going to come in and add a little bit to what I'm sharing with you over a couple of coaching calls. We are going to give her a moment to jump on with us, make sure she got her invitation. She'll be live with us in the Facebook Live Fast Coach Training Alumni Group. So if you're on the conference line, I see you guys there. Thank you for joining. If you want to see my and Tamay's beautiful face, join us on Facebook Live in the Fast Coach Training Facebook group. You should have received an invitation to the Facebook group in the email that I sent out about an hour, maybe 2 hours ago. Just click the link, come on over to the FCT, Fast Coach Training Alumni Facebook group. That's where we'll be jamming tonight. Hi, Pixie Lee. Thanks for joining. Hey, Shayla Bell. Hey, Minister Deidre. Appreciate you guys for being here. The newbies. I see a lot of new faces, a lot of new names, and of course, a lot of new numbers with us on our conference line. Let me introduce myself. My name is Andrika J. Austin. I go by Coach AJ. My company, my coaching company is over at www.thebossof.me, where I love helping coaches just like you confidently convert conversations to clients, cash, checks, and credit cards. And one of my favorite ways to do that is to get your message out, get the word out about who you are as a coach, what you do, and why people should care enough to hire you as their coach. So we're taking a moment to get started with our phenomenal topic that I kind of dove into just a moment on our last coaching call, where I gave you guys about 11 different ways that I repurpose content. You're like, AJ, what does that have to do with tonight's coaching call? Well, we're going to introduce our topic in just a moment. Let's see. Okay, so Tamay is sending me a message. I have found a new way. Let me ask her, did you get the invites? Okay, so I found a way to add our special guest to our Facebook Lives, and I'm really, really praying with fingers and toes crossed that this works, because we're diving into one of the smartest, easiest ways to market your coaching company online. And it's picking up where I kind of left off on our last coaching call. I'm going to go ahead and take my earrings off, or one of them, conference line. I apologize if it's knocking up against my microphone. I tend to do that and forget because they're so cute. Anyway, I started to talk about how I take one piece of content, for example, our Facebook Lives, and I do what's known as repurposing. And that means to take one piece of information. Let's say you are a business coach and you want to share or market your business. Where there's a way you can do it, and we're going to dive into that coming up. I'm bringing Tamay on the line. So Tamay's coming on our Facebook Live. I think Facebook's going to operate well with us. And conference liners, I'm not leaving you out. I'm going to put you on speakerphone so that you can hear. Cool. So one of the easiest ways, and let me let you guys know, I always forget to do this in the beginning. We have an upcoming Fast Coach Training Personal Life Coach Certification class coming up live in Atlanta, Georgia very soon. And we would love for you to be there if you're one of our coaches. And you can, of course, get that free refresher course. You can get one of those for free after you get certified. But also, if you know somebody who needs to or wants to become a certified life coach, send them over to fastcoachtraining.com. Tell them to register for the latest or the next or the upcoming date, and you will receive $50. And it works because I still do it too. So cool. It looks like Facebook, tell her one more time, try one more time. and then we're going to dive in. So those of you that are with us live, you are a coach. Have you ever written, let's start with simple, a blog post? How many coaches do we have with us in the private Fast Coach Training alumni group who have a blog for their coaching? Nothing else but their coaching. How many of you coaches, Facebook Live, have a blog? Because we're going to give you a great example for how to do this repurposing thing, how to market your coaching business a smart way, and how to start bringing in clients just using this one tactic that we're about to dive into as Facebook decides that it wants to let us be great. So, all right. So Facebook is sending another invite. I really hope this works. I don't need my earplugs because the conference line is on speaker. And you guys give Tamay one moment. We are working on bringing her on. Told her to try one more time. Hopefully you guys can hang in there with us. Y'all are such soldiers. Okay, so Pixie Lee says her blog is going live in August. Well, Pixie, you're going to love the tactics that we talk about. It's called repurposing. It's where you take something like a blog post or something as simple as a Facebook post and you give it life. You give it more than one meaning and you share it over and over again. So you guys remember this little list of 11 ways I showed you last night? Take a quick screenshot if you're live with us. Maybe you can read my handwriting backwards, right? Because I know it's probably showed up backwards in the camera. But what this is a list of ways that I take something as simple as what we're doing tonight with our coaching call and I repurpose it. I use it more than once. So I'm going to start to break down my system as we wait on Tamay to join us. And what it looks like is, for those of you who don't know, now I've talked to some social media pros who don't know this. You can take something as simple as a Facebook Live or a blog post. I'm going to use Facebook Live because this is what I do. Take a blog post. Nope. Let me back up. Take a Facebook Live video, download it via your computer, upload it to something like a YouTube. That's two different ways that you've already used this content. So you got your Facebook Live, you've downloaded it and uploaded it to YouTube. I also go over to LinkedIn. For those of you who are not on LinkedIn, you should be, even if you're a coach. I'm actually in a private coaching group on LinkedIn for coaches, coaching coaches. So I use this video as a LinkedIn blog post, a Facebook Live. That's how it started. Goes to YouTube, goes to LinkedIn. What this is doing is over and over again, sharing this same information to another coach who could use it. I then go over to my blog. And if you guys want to see my blog, I don't know when the last time I've updated it, but it has some very relevant content on it. It's over at thebossof.me. I post a video in my blog post, this same video that I've uploaded to YouTube, LinkedIn, that started up as a Facebook Live. So you guys see that? That's 4 different ways already that I'm using this information over and over again. Let me see if some wheels are turning, Facebook Livers. Are you kind of getting the hint of what repurposing looks like? Is it kind of making a little bit of sense? I want to give you guys some practical information because this is how you market your coaching company. This is how people always tell me when they see me live and at an event, I'm speaking or attending, whatever it is, and they say, AJ, you're everywhere. And it's not necessarily that I'm everywhere per se, but it's that I've taken one piece of content, just like this Facebook Live. I'm over posting it on YouTube, sharing it with viewers there, on LinkedIn, being relevant on that platform to other coaches who need this content. Because again, as my tagline in the beginning said, I help you confidently convert conversations to clients, cash, checks, and credit cards. The only way I can do this is to get out of my bubble. So we start live in the Facebook group. We download that video. We upload it to YouTube. I also share it on my own personal Facebook page, my business Facebook page. How many are we at now? At least 5 different ways that I'm using one source of content to help market and grow my business successfully. Well, let me pause and tell you how this works. I have received an inbox on Facebook saying, hey, I love your profile. We have a local TV show called People TV here in Atlanta. Would love to have you in the studio. So 2 weeks from today, I'm going to be live in the studio on someone's TV show, all because they see me being active and repurposing my content for coaches and women entrepreneurs live on my Facebook page. But as I mentioned, it only starts there. Facebook is the first place to start posting your Facebook lives, your YouTube videos. You can share links. You can also share your blog posts. This is a way for you to start marketing and growing your coaching company, and not just spamming people, not just in their inbox trying to sell them on coaching, not just assuming that they want to be your client. So you're wondering, okay, how do I get the sale? Like Pixie Lee with our Instagram masterclass a couple weeks ago, she said, how do I get those who are serious about my coaching from, hey, friend. Okay, that's Tame, you guys. Hey. Tame, so we have a live conference line, and we finally have you live on Facebook. I know they're probably like, AJ is lying. Ain't nobody else on here with her tonight. Hey, girl.
Hey.
So I was letting you guys know that as you show up on social media with just one piece of content, you can successfully market your content to get people who are really interested in doing business with you to start having those inbox conversations. You guys remember, we're talking about starting those conversations that convert to clients, cash checks, and credit cards starting in the inbox. So people are looking at how you show up online, and that all starts with what you're sharing and how you're repurposing that content. So let me go ahead and introduce our guest now that Facebook allowed us to be great, and let you guys know this is Tame Shannon. We're both here in the metro Atlanta area. Tame, I don't know exactly where you live, so we're just in Atlanta, okay? But we're both Atlanta, West Georgia area. We met when I was speaking at an event. This is my memory. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tame.
So.
But I was speaking, and afterwards, her and about 3 other social media pros who were on this thing called Periscope surrounded me at the end of my talk, and they said, AJ, you got to get on this. Give me your phone. And they took my phone. My intern was there at the time. Elea, she was there assisting me. And she took my phone. She downloaded the app. Tame very patiently waited after the event, and they got me on Periscope for the first time as a result of sitting in my event, listening to me speak and saying, okay, you need to repurpose this content. Take a live talk, put it on record, and let more people see it around the world. Right. So I wanted to bring Tame to you guys to talk about how we take something as simple as a talk, as simple as a blog post, as simple as a Facebook Live, and use it more than once. So Tame is a social media guru, genius, however you want to call it, because I have always seen her doing live streams. She's popped up on some of my live streams. And recently she reached out in my LinkedIn inbox. We talked for about an hour and a half. And after that, she had like 5 different speaking events. She had, what else coming up? We may have an event for our writers retreat. Yes. We just were able to connect so well. So I said, Tame, I would love to introduce you to my coaches. So Tame, take a minute, tell us who you are, and also share with us a little bit more about what you do. And let me make sure we're on the right platform. Go ahead.
So a little bit about me. So I've been doing social media for about 8 years, and basically what that means is I've been creating content, growing audiences, and basically having an impact for small business owners. So managing social media so business owners don't have to worry about it. So that's what I've been doing for going on 8 years now. And wow, 8 years. Okay. And then what else? What else did you ask me to talk about?
Just who you are, what you do, and let's kind of dive into what it means to successfully grow and market a coaching company or any type of business just by using some content. First, break down what content is, and then let's talk about the repurposing part of it.
Okay, absolutely. So it's really interesting. What's recently happened is that people have begun to identify content with with blog posts. Like content can only be blog posts. And that's just not the case. Content is anything that you create for your business. It could be a video, it could be a tweet, it could be a blog post, it could be a picture. Whatever you create, if you create it, it's a piece of content. It could be an audio file, but whatever it is, that is content. So you can actually take that content and have it be repurposed for your business. So what does repurposing look like? Well, the beautiful thing about repurposing is that people who are on social media for their business often say, I just don't have the time. It's really hard to always think of something new. How do I keep getting out there without being like annoying and create something interesting? And repurposing content takes care of that. So if you, like, for example, I actually have a handy dandy little infographic and I'll post it in the group. But the cool thing about repurposing content is you can, let's just say, take a blog post. You can turn it into a white paper. You can turn it into a podcast, a short video. You can turn it into 5 tweets, 2 Facebook posts, a LinkedIn post, a LinkedIn article. You can turn it into like so many different things, all with reusing the same piece of content that you created. You don't have to rewrite one word, you can just repurpose it. And so that's how I'm always telling business owners to keep getting themselves out there. Use that blog post. That's like, use the blog post till you get tired of the blog post and then use it some more. Like, you just keep going at it. And what that's going to do for you, it's going to, one, give you time. It's going to free up your time because you're not always creating and thinking of something new. But it's also going to, like, look, let's be honest. When was the last time that somebody sent you an email and you opened it up the first time around? Maybe not. So you're actually going to get in front of the people that you want to get in front of in a way that you want to get in front of them. So don't assume people are tired of you or they think you, oh my gosh, I'm going to annoy people. No, people are really busy. And so on average, I just created, I did a proposal and I was doing research, and on average, before people make a decision, they see 11.4 pieces of content from you. 11.4. So if you actually had to recreate or create 11 pieces of content, that's kind of tiring. But if you take a blog post and recreate it, it's easy.
Cool. So I hope that's helping Pixie Lee. Pixie's one of our coaches. She's a new author who I helped write her book about almost a year ago now, Pixie. So let's talk to May a little bit more about how a coach can do something as simple as, like you said, a Facebook post or a tweet and repurpose it, use it more than once, like you said, until they get tired of it.
Right.
Because we have some of our coaches are newly certified, some of them are rebranding, but all of them are looking for ways to effectively make money online as a coach by successfully marketing and growing their business. And I know that, you know, taking one piece of content, and like I mentioned earlier before you jumped on, using it in different ways. So for example, I've used, this is my little list here that I show everybody. It's about 11 different ways that I use this one Facebook Live, like after we finish, 11 different ways that I'll repurpose this same video. So can we give Pixie Lee a little bit more information about how to take her blog post and repurpose it?
Well, actually, since you just told me Pixie is an author, we're going to take her book. And I'm going to tell her different ways that she can repurpose her book.
I was thinking that. Yes, let's do it.
So, okay, great. So the beautiful thing about a book is you just invested a year's worth of content and it's condensed. So it's beautiful. So what I like to do is I like to especially make it easy for business owners is to theme days. So if you have a book, you can theme your Tuesdays or Wednesdays, like a Wednesday wisdom or a Tuesday tip, and theme it with quotes from your book. So that's all you ever do on a Tuesday is you just pull from your book and you look at the quotes and the amazingness that you already created and you put it out there. And then if you're like, oh, if you want to know more, there's a book. So that is one thing. There's a book. So that's one thing you can do. But then also, your book is a great platform for speaking. So if you want to, like, for example, what I tell people is I tell them to go to Eventbrite, see what events have their audience, reach out to the people who are doing the events, and then include an excerpt of your book and say, hey, I'm an author. I would love to contribute in any way I can. This is my expertise. Is there a way that I can help you make your event really serve your audience? So that's another way that you can leverage your book and reuse it to further your speaking goals. And then another thing is obviously tweets. You've got 140 or actually 280. You've got 280 characters now to pull from your book. So again, quotes, pull those quotes from your book. You have made yourself the expert. Act like it, right? Like, how many times does Tony Robbins quote himself? Kind of often, right? Kind of all the time. So you quote yourself all the time. You are the ish out there. You have a book. Act like it. So always quote yourself whenever you have the opportunity. And then another great way to repurpose your book is to create a workshop using the principles in your book and then sell your book in the workshop. Like, include that in the price of your workshop. So let's say your workshop is $59.99. Include it in the workshop. They get the book as a way to help them through whatever they need to work through. So that's another way to repurpose your book. You don't have to create the workshop anew. All the content and material is right there. So create a workshop out of your book. Another thing you can do is serialize your book in podcast form. So let's say you can create a mini series, let's say 10 episodes of a podcast, and you go through each chapter and you can really dig deep into that chapter and what it's going to offer your audience. So you can really start teasing out some of the things you might not have been able to include in your book, but that you can include in your podcast or through interviewing somebody. So you can really highlight each chapter. And at the end of the podcast, you'll talk about, hey, if you want me to come speak to you, or you want me to come talk about this more, if you want to whatever, I've got a book, I've got a workshop, I've got a signature, whatever. Hire me, we're going to make this happen. So that's just a couple of the ways that you can leverage and reuse and repurpose your book to get what you want to get for your business.
I love it. Tamay, you got me thinking, because all of my things are on online. I love that you took it offline for speaking, workshops, bring it back online for podcasts, take it back offline to go speak at someone else's event.
Exactly.
I love that, Tamay.
Exactly.
I love it. You're like my second brain, because I listed as much stuff as I willingly do with my content, but now it's really making sense. Minister Deidre says that she's rebranding as a coach, and this is some good information. So
yes. Well, so the really great thing about when you're rebranding is it will allow you to bridge that gap between who you were and who you are now. So that while you're still developing and finding that voice, you can reuse some of your old content for your new audience, because there's just certain pieces that are evergreen. And so while you're really honing that voice in and you don't necessarily have the time to always create, 12 new blog posts, you can certainly reuse an old blog post and give it a new excerpt or a new header. So what that looks like is something like, oh, I spoke about this last year. Here's what I think about it now. It's the same blog post, and all you're doing is adding a new paragraph. So it makes it relevant for who you are now, but you don't have to write 500 words. So, yeah.
I like that. I like the new, I like that. I got to look through my old stuff to say, this is where I was. Now I'm rebranding as a coach, and this is what I think about this now. That is genius. I told y'all she's a social media genius, okay? Wow.
Yeah, because it's a really great way to pull in that authenticity and show people that, look, I've gone through rebranding and I really see my coaching differently now. And this is and so it's just a great way to show people that you're not like perfect and infallible. And that allows people to connect with you easier.
Exactly. And I love the advice you gave to Pixie, who's an author. And I'm sure some other authors will be tuning in, because we have people who are inboxing me, people who are waiting on my event coming up in November. They're ready to write their first book. And I know you and I are going to be partnering to do some work on your first book. So I'm so excited about that, because now, like you said, you have this information that will already be complete, and you're just kind of teasing it out, whether it's speaking on your own live event stage, speaking on a virtual stage, like a podcast, or someone interviewing you. you speaking on someone else's stage live, you posting it on Facebook to share, but not just what they say, just kind of post and pray. You're posting it with a purpose. You have a strategic plan behind this information that's going to tease it and make people want to come buy your book. I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then wrapping it up with, you know, telling people where you stand even after the book is out, because a lot of coaches will write a book, but then the book doesn't make money. And so these are some great ways to remarket and repurpose this same content to still be relevant to people who may be looking for a coach who does what you do. To me, I love it. Genius. Absolutely. Yeah. So anything else you would add to that?
So what else I would add to that is, at the end of the day, when you're repurposing content or even just creating content in the beginning, you want to look at what is the purpose of this piece of content. Do I want people to sign up for my newsletter? Do I want people to sign up for my workshop? Or is it brand awareness? I just want people to follow me. But what is the purpose of this piece of content? Like you said, what did you say, post and pray? Like, that doesn't do that for your business. It doesn't. Like, if that's how you do your social, I promise you, I already know you're not making money, because posting and praying does not deliver those bottom line results. So you've got to know, what is your measure of success? How are you going to say, look, I've done this thing for a month, I've done this thing for a week, I've been posting and commenting, and I know it's successful because 50 people sign up to my newsletter list. All right, perfect, great. But you've got to, when you're creating your content, you've got to know the purpose and what business goals specifically will this content support. So if you have for your first quarter, you're like, okay, this first quarter, I'm going to increase my newsletter subscribers. That is my goal for this first quarter, so I can sell them in the second quarter. So every piece of content you have out there is going to be towards that goal, whether it's specifically asking people to sign up to your newsletter list, or it's showing people the value of them interacting and engaging with you. Whatever it is, every piece of content has that result in mind.
Right. And so I want to make sure that we're keeping our information like basic, because I know you and I have been in the game for years, and we get so far advanced that we skip some of the just elementary things, or things that I don't even want to talk about. I'm like, you can Google that, you can YouTube that. But I want to make sure that our coaches are understanding how simple it is to take something as simple as a quote from a book that you've written, or maybe even a quote, like you said, Tony Robbins quotes himself all the time. Take that quote, share it on Facebook, share it on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you are. Do a 57-second video on Instagram about what you feel, and someone, I guarantee, will reach out to you with a speaking opportunity. That's exactly what happened to me on LinkedIn. I did a blog post about the top 20 ways I get clients, and I'm going to share that coming up, coaches, so no worries. But I did a step-by-step. You know, someone may see me speaking, and then they invite me. It's just a whole long, drawn-out thing that I did a blog post about. Someone reached out to me to come speak with him and another coach who charges about $10,000. And I had secretly wanted to be working with this coach because I saw him around Atlanta doing some great things. And here it is, I got a free opportunity, and I was on his level as the expert. And he's like, AJ, you don't need me. You do what I do. So I love the fact that a blog post led to some more speaking opportunities. And that just shows that when you show up in more than one platform, in more than one way, one thing will lead to another. So for those coaches who are looking to do more speaking, write their first book, do more Facebook Live, do some live streaming, there are ways that you can show up with something as simple as a social media post, a blog post, a 57-second video, and use it more than once. And then when you show up for those speaking opportunities, you have other things to offer. Like May said, there is a book. You know, you can tease that content to get people interested in learning more about you, your coaching service, and start to convert that conversation into your next client, that cash, those credit cards, and make it work for you. So to me, as we wrap up, what is just one piece of advice that you would give to someone who's growing a new business, whether it's coaching or marketing, whatever they do, how can they do it successfully as far as marketing and growing their business by using just a little bit of what you've said to take it even further and make sure that it's not just a one-hit wonder or one-time thing?
Right. So I would say the easiest thing to do is, well, especially on social media, consistency is always key. So when you're first starting out, focus on one platform. If you know that you can consistently post on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever is appropriate for your audience, and you know you can commit to being consistent on that, consistency is what's going to actually get you those dollars in your inbox. And so once you're like, I can commit to this, you can take that content and like pull a quote from your book and go to canva.com, create a little meme, and then go ahead and have it resized for all the platforms and just post it there throughout the week. You don't have to post them the same day. You can post on Facebook on Friday or Monday, LinkedIn on Tuesday, do Twitter on Wednesday, Instagram, whatever you decide to do. But it's really that consistency that really, at the end of the day, when people keep seeing you, again, like I said, it's that 11.4 pieces of content. And so people have got to see you consistently before they're like, yeah, I want to do that. Because there's been many a time where people are like, oh, I've been following you for a while. And I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you've just got to be consistent to give people the opportunity to get to know you, to get to trust you, to get to like you before they're ready to pull that trigger. So keep it simple. You don't have to do everything when you start off. It's really that consistency that's going to actually return those dollars in your hand.
Yeah. Be consistent. Don't try to be everywhere at the same time. I know we've been talking a
Yeah.
lot about Instagram, and kind of at the end of our video last week, I talked a little bit more about the 11 different ways that I've shown up just with using something as simple as this Facebook Live. So I appreciate that stat about people need to see your content at least 11 times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if someone is following you consistently, and they're telling you, like they tell me, AJ, you're everywhere. And I'm like, it's not that I'm everywhere. I just post that one thing, those 11 times on the different platforms in the
Exactly.
different ways. And it leads to business. It leads to speaking opportunities. It leads to people saying, when can I get on your calendar to interview you, to coach with you?
Mm-hmm.
I told one of our coaches yesterday, Tina Bailey, I'm on a hiatus from coaching one-on-one. But opportunities like speaking and showing up and getting recorded and being able to share that information with someone
Yeah.
who needs it, that's what I'm all about. So I wanted to just thank you for saying yes to this opportunity to show up for our coaches who are looking to
Yes.
grow their coaching business. They're rebranding. Some of them will get books out this year. Some of them are in the process of creating better coaching programs to get more clients. But it just starts with that nugget, that simple little thing
Yeah.
that can lead you down the right path. So before we end, can you tell people where to find you in case they want to connect with you? Because you're just like not a hidden gem, but I know if I keep digging, we could get so far into this thing, and I want to
We could talk
respect
about
your
a
time.
lot.
So let people know where they can find you to continue that conversation if they desire to.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram Instagram and Facebook at W2S Marketing, and then Twitter at Where to Start. And then if you are old school and you like, let's pick up a phone and have a conversation, let's do that. So my number is 678-837-6126. Those are all the ways to contact me. I just love to have conversations about what you're creating in your business and how you see it going and the goals that you have. So just reach out and we'll have a conversation.
Very cool. So guys, like I said, we can continue this conversation forever. I don't want to take up our time. We're at the top of the hour. I hope these nuggets have helped you guys. Like Tomei said, if you want to get old school, pick up the phone. She's a great conversationalist. If nothing else, she'll listen while you ramble on, and then finally stuff starts coming together. And it's like, oh, we did cover a lot. So she and I will be doing some great things coming up for new authors this year. And Tomei, I'll reach out and we'll talk more about what that looks like. Because like I mentioned, we have a lot of coaches like Pixie Lee. She took our coaching training here in Atlanta. She followed me around at the end and she said, AJ, I'm ready to write my book. So Pixie, you will be happy to know that Tomei is basically the sponsor, hopefully I'm not speaking too soon, for our event. Okay, cool. So we have a great new event in Atlanta. Pixie's going to be one of our testimonial authors. Awesome. Tomei will be a new author. We are speaking at.
Yes, we're going to speak that. I will be a new author. Yes.
She will have a new book. I'm trying to get her to talk about stuff that's really going to help you guys continue to grow your business based on where she is and what she has seen that will help you. I'm just excited. So social media, it started with a LinkedIn Connect. It continued. And we are just everywhere. Minister Deidre is asking, oh, I guess I forgot that. Guys, what questions do you have before we leave? I'm looking at the clock. Y'all better hurry up. We forgot the Q&A. Minister Deidre says, will you guys be coming back to Philly? I'm not at the moment. We just canceled our event in Raleigh. I think she's referring to our Fast Coach training, the life coach certification we have here in Atlanta. Minister, we have a training here in Atlanta every last Friday of the month. We have one coming up on July 27th. You can always go to fastcoachtraining.com and look at the drop down, and it'll tell you what cities the training will be featured in. But that's just to get certified, guys. The events that Tamay and I will be partnering up with is coming up soon. So you guys be on the lookout for that. You got like 60 seconds, guys. If you have questions, post them there. If not, we can continue the conversation even after we're no longer live by tagging myself or Tamay. And we'll be happy to jump in that discussion box with you and keep the conversation flowing. So Tamay, I want to thank you once again for saying yes, for showing up. I know you blessed some of our coaches here. One thing that I want to apologize early for, guys, y'all know how I am with this technology. I was doing too much. I'm only live on my personal page. I thought I was live in the group, but I'm going to be sharing this in the group to make sure all of our coaches have access to this video. But it just goes to show how you can repurpose one piece of content and it still serves its purpose. So thank you for showing up, Tamay. Thank you to Pixie and Minister Deidre. You guys have been great with the engagement. Shouts out to our conference line. We are out of time. So until we meet again, my friends, you guys have a phenomenal day. And remember, someone somewhere is waiting on you to walk in your destiny so they can walk into theirs, because it's when you let your light shine, you give others permission to do the same. I'm Coach Andrika J. Austin. Shouts out to my special guest, Tamay Shannon of W2S Marketing, and we will see you guys next week. God bless y'all. Bye-bye.